In King of Pop news.
What are you playing?
Michael Jackson. Beat it.
It's his Michael Jackson fight song.
I already know how to play that.
It's hard to play it on this one because you have to hit the notes immediately from this.
He's a musician.
Now I can hear it. Yeah.
From over here, it sounds like your little stick is like crooked because the notes come out all whack.
Submitted by I'm Sorry Joe.
Yeah, right. I'll fucking slap the fucking...
For those of you that don't know, Joe's a huge MJ fan. He made us go to this Vegas.
I didn't make you go shit. You guys wanted to go.
Dude, the Vegas One show?
No, the impersonator.
The impersonator.
It's even worse. It was beneath that.
It was a good show though.
We were too close.
But unfortunately, we sat way too close, and he didn't look like Michael up close.
So you just couldn't even get into the dance room?
You can see the hard lines on the makeup.
Every time he goes on stage, Michael just fucking possesses this dude and channels
He's really
him through.
good.
Was it really that good?
Yeah.
Like if we were further away, I would have believed that was Michael.
So that's the first time like being close actually hurt the experience.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're just like, ah.
You just saw big contour lines like this.
And then the next day we did the what show was it?
What kind of contour is
The Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah, the sex one. I forgot what it's called. But that
Humanity?
one. That one, exactly. We were sitting way too far. We're like, fuck, we should have been closer to this one.
Should have traded him.
The Michael Jackson One show is fucking dope though.
It's amazing.
Really good.
I've seen it a couple
Comes
times.
out in a hologram and shit.
You should see it.
Yeah, they're
There you go.
bouncing off trampolines and stuff, playing guitars.
I know both.
Yeah, there's like 4-foot Chinese circus guys that come out and fucking spin around. It's dope. Dude.
You should see it before it literally gets canceled forever because
I know.
his whole legacy is burning down around him.
No.
Damn.
Why do they do that?
Well, because the mainstream media is fucked up. That's why. But go on. Let's catch up some people up to speed because I got some shit.
And I got something to say to what Steve just said, but something else.
We're gonna get right to that.
Okay.
The HBO documentary Leaving Neverland is shocking viewers and threatening Michael Jackson's estate.
We should burn all of his music in a public square. And it should not be listened to anymore. That's what I think.
Bullshit.
And all hats and clothing, all of it.
Wade Robinson's a motherfucking scam artist. But go on.
These are the guys that created Leaving Neverland.
Fucking Safe Chuck. You're like Danger
This is the
Chuck.
director. This is Wade. And then this is
Safe Chuck.
James
James
Safechuck.
Safechuck.
They look like a EDM group or something.
So Wade says that he met Michael Jackson when he was 5 years.
Oh yeah, 5.
5 years old. He won a contest in Australia to meet him, and then James met Michael Jackson in a Pepsi commercial when he was 10. So here's some photos.
If you told me that was Coldplay, I'd believe you.
No reason to argue at all. Oh, sure, could be.
Or Creed.
Yeah, okay.
James and then Michael. So they were like really close, and then so was Wade. He was really close to Michael. And so they created this documentary claiming that Michael sexually abused the both of them. And did anyone see it, by the way?
I saw it.
I did.
I read points about it. I didn't get to see it yet.
I watched both 2 hours, and then the Oprah.
Yeah, it's 4 hours.
Yeah, 4 hours.
I watched some of that Oprah shit.
Was Oprah for or against
I was
Michael?
surprised that Oprah even covered it.
I didn't know about Oprah's thing. What's
Everyone's covering it right now.
So after the second episode, or the second installment, Oprah did basically Talking Neverland with Wade, Dan, and James. And I don't know if she actually probably asked more hard questions to Wade than the documentary ever did.
Yeah.
Because on the internet, everybody was like, Wade, because there was like a whole timeline of all the times basically Wade tried to cash out on Michael Jackson.
Yeah, there's been a lot.
Sold his memorabilia. He wanted to do the Cirque du Soleil show.
I mean, his whole career was Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
There's no other way he made money.
Yeah. So actually, did you know he choreographed for NSYNC?
And Britney.
Well, he actually fucked Britney and ruined the relationship between Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears.
Damn, you did your homework.
He literally fucked her?
That's what Crimea River was about.
What?
Whoa, really?
Yeah, there's even like
He fucked Prime Britney, like 2001 Britney.
Yeah, this was like
Yeah, that is prime.
They even did a show like a recap like a show about it too, where like Justin and Britney's fighting. They're like, Wade Robinson, why him? He's like a big dance choreographer in the industry. And then so you know how Britney Spears is a dancer and all that. And,
He was her creative director.
Right. So then she cheated on Justin with him.
I did not know.
But so he's a career con. Like he's did this with Prince's girlfriend. It was like
He fucked Prince's girlfriend too?
Yeah, he fucked a lot of girls and ruined a lot of relationships and fucked a lot of people over. Wow. And he's a complete fame chasing ass motherfucker.
So that's one of the things that Oprah asked about him, where he had a terrible, like he had a really bad answer. She was like, because essentially, I didn't know this either. He testified for Michael when he was 11, and then again when he was like 22, and like even when Michael died, like it was up until like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, he had been
2012.
Yeah, pro Michael every time he had an opportunity. He'd been pro Michael, and then after he died, then he had a therapist or something like that. So Oprah was like, why did you like sue him when you said you were against him? And Wade was like, well, you know, I was just looking for the right platform, and you know, the legal system is a platform. And I was like, fam, that's
who's his platform like that though?
I don't know.
I'm using the legal system as a platform.
No one in the history ever. I would have actually believed him if he would have just been like, man, I wanted to cash out.
Yeah.
That would have made more sense than
Even the other guy's mom, the other kid that met him, when he was 10, like they were interviewing the mom in the documentary. This is as far as I got in the documentary, maybe like the first 10 minutes. And then she was talking about how he was discovered and that the agent was telling her that her son's like, oh, this is money in the bank. I want him. And the mom's like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and she was like, the stage mom and me came out.
Oh, that's the other mom.
Oh,
that's Safe Chuck.
Yeah, but the Safe Chuck mom, and I'm like, what the fuck? You guys are all fucking scumbags. So at that point, I'm like, I don't need to watch the rest of this. I already know what type of people both of these people came from.
Yeah.
Or families.
Well, but can a piece of shit get diddled? I think is the
diddled.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. That's true.
Dude.
They can get diddled.
So that's my thing is like, okay, so and like what you're saying, right? So he was a big defender of Michael, and what you're about to say, he was a big defender of Michael his whole life. He even testified in court that Michael was awesome to him. But then he went to therapy, and he discovered that these old feelings he had for Michael, there was like a lot of troubling things that happened. Like, is that possible?
I think that's definitely
a possibility, but there's also motive tied to his shadiness, which is him being denied for the Michael Jackson 1 choreograph role.
Yeah.
He begged the estate of Michael Jackson to become the main choreographer for the show. They denied him, and then that's when things started to go down. He wrote a book about it. He wanted to. It came so conveniently after the fact that he didn't have a job anymore with the group. So previous to that, as recent as 2009, he sent an email with him and his family, and basically saying like, you know, I want to go to Michael's funeral. If he had all these feelings about him, it doesn't make any sense. It's so convenient.
But you can love your molester.
Yeah,
that's true. But to me, it's like, it's so convenient that after he doesn't have a job anymore, and he doesn't have money anymore, he conveniently goes to a therapist and magically realizes, oh, he actually did molest me.
Well, here's my thing, because I had the same thoughts as you. I think Wade's credibility is weak.
Right.
He doesn't come across believable, but that doesn't mean he's lying.
Right.
But the other dude doesn't seem like an opportunist.
Well, I don't really know anything about Safe Chuck.
Yeah, Safe Chuck, there's no no job, no money, no legal thing. And even like in the Oprah thing, like Wade kind of comes off as a performer all the time. Like he literally looks like he's trying to push, you know, but the other dude was like sweating, and he's just like, he looks like he's not over it at all.
Right.
And I think the thing about Michael Jackson that is hard is like he's intertwined in our childhood, at least in mine. Like, I mean, those music videos when Scream came out and Dangerous and Moonwalker, I had the game. Like, you don't want to believe that stuff, but the truth is, we don't really know these people.
We don't.
At all. And Michael admitted that he had kids at the house all the time.
But you know what makes me feel a little bit less, so I'm with the argument of like, we never know, right?
Right.
There's obviously his side, the other person's side, and then there's obviously the truth. So we will never know, especially now, because, I mean, Michael Jackson has passed, but like Corey Feldman, who we all know was a child actor, he was repeatedly sexually abused just in Hollywood. He was just passed around. He backs up Michael like crazy. So he was like,
a lot of people.
Yeah.
So does
Macaulay Culkin.
But there's also people that aren't as famous, like Brett Barnes.
Yeah.
So in the documentary, the two guys get replaced by this other boy, which is Brett Barnes, and Brett Barnes.
What do you mean by replaced?
Well, so if you watch the whole thing,
they aged out of his interest.
Michael always has a new
toy, a new boy toy.
Oh, best friend.
Right, and then they feel replaced, right? And then so.
But you don't think that's weird?
That is weird. That's fucking weird.
I'll get to why. I'll get to why it's weird, like why it looks like pedophilia and all that, but it isn't. But so he gets replaced by Macaulay Culkin, and then during that time it's Brett Barnes. So Brett Barnes spent the most time with Michael Jackson alone. in the longest time, like 7-8 years or something like that.
Dang.
But he on his Twitter is coming out in defense of Michael, saying this never fucking happened, whatever. And it's inconsistent of a pedophile. Why is it that like these guys like Macaulay, everybody that's with him doesn't say that this happened? And every single person that's claiming that Michael Jackson is a pedophile, their shit is crumbling. Like it doesn't stand.
Well, Safe Chuck isn't crumbling, and I want to say this. My big thing is that we were talking about just the other day is if I'm a famous person, like not just famous, but I can't go literally anywhere. Michael Jackson, the most famous person. Especially at that time.
Yeah.
He could go to Antarctica and get mobbed by Eskimos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Penguins are like, Mike, I got the black and white on because it's blue criminals.
No, exactly. Yeah, right. They're coming over. No, but okay, so if I'm Michael Jackson, why would I molest someone else with power and with a voice?
That's what I was thinking.
It doesn't make any sense. It's
like Macaulay Culkin.
If you're smart,
you're adding logic to it, and with pedophiles, it's an urge they can't help themselves.
Well, no, but they can select targets.
They can, but they can't help themselves.
Going with your argument, right?
Yeah.
There is a forensic psychologist from the like Cincinnati University or something like that, and he specializes in this stuff. And he did a 10-year study on the profile of Michael Jackson, and this person specializes in pedophilia. And he says that his behavior and personality is not consistent with a pedophile.
Right.
And if he was, he would be the first of his case in a million years.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is they're saying like, yes, pedophiles do have things to lure children. They like to have toys. They like to have things like that. And so, but in Michael's case, he's actually enjoying the things that he owns. So he himself he has a stunted growth mentally and emotionally. He's a child. That's why he enjoys those things with the people of the same mental wavelength.
Yeah.
So that to me was like, okay, now you have this pro saying that the profile and everything just doesn't fit a pedophile's profile. On top of that, the FBI investigated Michael for about 13 years. During that investigation, they couldn't find anything to indict him. And on top of that, he went through a scandal in...
Yeah, the one that put him as a molester. I think it was like... So I think that's...
It was like Jacob or it was someone else. But anyways, the big one where the whole scandal erupted, right?
Yeah.
So what happened after that? So they settled outside of court.
25 million.
Right, they settled outside of
because
court.
they had to.
Yeah.
Here's the big part.
Settling doesn't mean you're guilty, yeah.
Right, exactly. But here's the thing. Because it's a criminal investigation, the FBI and the county of Santa Clarita or whatever, they continued it. Yeah. And they had a grand jury.
Which you're not supposed to do.
What do you mean?
Well, if one's already happening and it's getting settled, you can't continue the other one on another end or something.
No. The thing is, like, so even if it was settled, it doesn't make him off the hook because it's a criminal act of pedophilia. So then it's like if there are actual molestation, they have to continually investigate it, which they did, and they couldn't find anything to indict him on. And in that area, the law is they could indict him on just hearsay. So what happened was the person who was claiming Michael was a pedophile, after they got the settlement, he no longer cooperated with the police. On top of that, all the witnesses that they cross-examined and everything, all of their, I guess, cases were crumbling.
Yeah.
So every single person that's coming out, they're not withstanding and holding. So I'm like, and they searched like 12 laptops, all Michael.
But what's the thing that they were saying because of that first case? I think it started off because this guy wanted to do a movie or something with Michael. Michael didn't want to fund it or something like that. And he was like, well, I'm going to get you for everything that you have. And then he brought in his son to say like, yeah, Michael molested me or whatever. And because of that whole case, I think they put this law where that couldn't happen anymore because of Michael Jackson's case, but I can't remember exactly what it was.
I thought it was funny watching parts of the clips of it where he's like, Robinson is like, why would I do this for money? I'm not in this for money. But then you can see that he was suing the estate for like $1.6 billion.
Billion.
Him and Safe Chuck both are, they have a...
So how can you say it's not for money? Just for once in my life, I would love for someone who's in it for the money to say, yeah, I'm in it for the money.
Yeah, people would understand that.
Right.
You say you robbed me of my, if true, you robbed me of my ability to make money in the future. I don't know how you justify $1.5 billion. But
I need to party the rest of my life because I have so much damage.
What's weird is how can you sue a dead person?
the estate.
But that's what I'm saying. It's weird. It's like if he wasn't rich, and like let's say you're just trying to really fight for justice, right?
Yeah.
If you're really just trying to fight for justice, and like let's say we have a son, right? The person that
We do have a son.
Okay, let's say that person that killed our son. Let's say that person dies. In a normal justice system, that ends there. We don't try to go after their family or the murderer's estate. Like we don't keep going until the end. Like why are they even letting this?
Well, if we knew that they had something, even if it's like a brick and mortar, and we want vengeance, we want to hurt that whole lineage.
So it's not even about justice.
Maximum damage, dude. It's about maximum damage.
Damn,
Yeah,
that sucks.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because if someone murdered my son and I was vengeful like that, I'm like, I want to hurt everyone that has your fucking blood, your last name. I want all of you guys gone.
So I understand the motive and the
terrifying,
the
right?
justice system is supposed to be there for our checks and balances, isn't it?
It is.
So why are they even letting something like this? Like I don't understand how you could sue a dead person.
Well, it's like the Tupac estate. Like if you just started like ripping off his music and
That I get. If it's royalties and IP,
yeah.
I get that stuff. But if it's like a direct action, like Tupac socked me in the face, now I'm gonna sue his mom.
right.
It's like what the fuck?
yeah.
Tupac socked you in the face.
Right.
Like I don't understand that point.
Odd too. It's like he's dead. Like just let the man rest. I don't know. Like if this is all true, then damn, that's crazy. But then like obviously it's so opportunist here.
It's so convenient that after someone dies, you can't. There's no such thing.
You can't sue for defamation, and that's something I saw that I thought was hard. Is like Wade Robson had all these different claims against other companies and circles, and he didn't mention any of that in the documentary because they can still sue for defamation, but Michael Jackson can't. So people were like, "Well, it's incredibly convenient."
Not even the estate, because I know the estate is suing for $100 million, like HBO, right?
Oh,
I don't think there's
HBO had a contract.
Right, but that's something else because they had an agreement that if they broadcast one of his concerts, they could never basically post anything that had him negatively, like showed him negatively.
Got it.
So that's the HBO thing.
Got
the
it.
defamation thing, I think is, and that's the thing about that. I don't know whether it's true or not, but I think Wade actually hurts this more than the other guy because his history of stuff looks so shaky. It's like even if you're telling the truth. It's too many times for it to be coincidental.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And there's so many inconsistencies in his story too, because he'll say like, I lost complete contact with Michael when I was 12 years old, but there's so much. And he's like, oh, Michael kept me separated from women, but like there's pictures of him with Lisa Marie Presley, and he's holding an umbrella for Michael Jackson and them hanging out together. They've been friends, they've been working together. And if he was trying to keep him away women, why did Michael hook him up with his own niece?
Yeah.
For 7 years, he was with her. It's like Brandy Jackson, I think. She came out saying he's a scumbag. He's a fucking lying sack of shit. He cheated on me. He was horrible as a boyfriend.
Damn, this is so hard. This is so.
Let me ask you this: you want to talk about profiling for a sec? Do we actually believe that Michael Jackson didn't have a wedding ceremony with a kid? Because I find that pretty believable.
That's the thing. I saw this tweet. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, in the documentary,
James Safechuck said they had like a wedding ceremony. They exchanged all this stuff. And somebody said if Michael Jackson wasn't a pedophile, he was definitely wearing a pedophile's uniform.
Yes.
And that's the thing about him. Like he had so much question. It's not like a celebrity. Like
He's weird as fuck.
Yes, who never had like just say Idris Elba. I don't want to but he's never been accused of having kids at his house. It'd be like if you heard that, you'd be like, what, dude? I never had no kids at my house.
Yeah.
But Michael,
if you look at Michael's childhood and the way he was raised and like his entire background and his family and all that, like it makes sense why he ended up being the man he was.
And also, like, have you guys ever played house, like when you're like in first grade, like in the middle of the field, right? So for me, the wedding for Michael's behavior is not too weird if he did have a wedding. Because imagine playing house, but now you have $1 bazillion.
Yeah, but imagine being a 35-year-old man marrying an 8-year-old kid.
He's so stunted. I wouldn't be surprised if he had a tea party with them.
Famous at like 5.
So, yeah, 5.
Like forever. After 5, all his fame did was grow.
Yeah.
And he was like super famous in the Jackson 5 only. And they say like wherever you become famous, like you basically stop maturing past that age. And he was like literally 5 years old, performing in like strip clubs and like lounges and stuff.
Yeah.
And having grown women throw themselves at him, like all his. So, and that's what Wade and the dude were saying. Like, obviously, everybody knows that story, and Michael used that to play, you know, play us into his hand, like, oh, I'm a little kid and stuff, and everybody knows that. So, I mean, it's really murky waters, and it seems very unfair to Michael that Wade had an opportunity to do this while he was alive.
Or multiple.
Multiple.
Well, his thing now is like, well, I was groomed. I didn't know that until I had my own kids, and then I started really putting things together. And that's a fucked up thing to say, because that is possible.
It's very believable.
It's possible.
You could have been groomed, and now you're just like...
Grooming is real, and you could like repress those memories.
Yeah.
If that was me and you like you're trying to have a career, you could be like, I'm not even gonna admit that happened ever. Like, I'll lie. But at the same time, I get him at 11 years old. But 22 is a little bit harder to do it, and then his history makes the whole thing harder to believe, because he's not a clear cut, you know, you know what I mean? It just looks like he's trying to take advantage.
Yeah, but Michael was weird, man. Like,
he was fucking weird. I give you that 1,000,000%.
He's not that weird.
He was very weird. It isn't. But what pisses me off is that parents are so fucking hungry for fame.
Yes.
That you do this shit. Like, the parents should be getting fucking sued.
They were like handing their children to a
children's services step in.
So
R. Kelly's innocent, dude. How dare you?
So one of the kids that
Fucking Steve.
one of Michael's accusers, I think it was Jacob or someone else.
Or was it Gavin? Arvizio?
No, it's the one with the dentist dad or whatever. It's basically there's like a huge chance that his parents made him do this for money. Because this is what happened after the lawsuit. He emancipated himself from his parents.
Oh yes.
And he refused to fucking talk on his documentary. He refused to testify in court in 2005.
Yeah.
He refused
Against Michael?
with police. Yeah. And after that point on, he just kind of excommunicated.
Oh,
himself.
they did mention that in the documentary. He like disappeared kind of.
He couldn't live with the guilt. That's what I'm thinking.
Because he also got paid off. He got hush money.
Was that the guy that
he was a minor at the time, and then people were breaking down his parents and saying that they were the ones that were forcing him to do
And that's
this.
the thing, that could be true too. People could absolutely be like, hold on, this is a golden opportunity to extort him. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing, like, all these scenarios can make sense.
Dude, for 1.6 billion, I would tell someone that Michael Jackson sucked my dick. I would.
I'll do anything for 1.6 billion.
Yeah, and all you have to do is say Michael Jackson sucked my dick. It's like that's pretty.
I think the only way I will start.
Oh my God, this dude, Steve's wild.
Think about it, dude. Think about it though.
When you say stuff, my ears are not ready to process it. It's just like, wait, what?
But billion, that's with a B.
People right now listening are like, I would never do shit like that. Fucking Steve's a scumbag. But
That's because they don't even know what a million means. You don't even know what 100,000 means.
Right.
And then a million, and then 10 million, 100 million, and a billion.
It sucks how many people fucking turned their backs and backstabbed Michael Jackson, and how many times it has crumbled.
It does.
Okay, the only way I will believe is if Macaulay Culkin or Brett Barnes comes out and changes their story and says, yes, I actually was.
But wouldn't you say that he's lying because that's what they said about Wade? Like, you would destroy Macaulay.
No. If they actually came out about it, I would say, okay, I'm gonna start.
But what if they were groomed so good that they don't even know that it even happened?
It doesn't make any sense because Macaulay, like, people are saying like, oh, Macaulay's just protecting Michael because he loves him or whatever, right? And he doesn't want to shame him, but it doesn't make any sense because he threw his own dad under the bus. Fucking, his dad was abusing him.
Macaulay did? Yeah, he did.
And then he fucking called the cops on him. He doesn't give a fuck. So
it doesn't mean that Michael Jackson molested every kid he met. Like, that's what grooming is, right?
Well, but that's inconsistent to a pedophile. Like, think about R. Kelly, right? Almost like there's and on top of that, there's more people coming out.
Yeah.
More and more people coming out.
Videotapes.
With very solid stories.
Yeah, and literal videotapes.
Videotape.
And he's still like, me?
I know. That was my brother.
He is the best, dude.
Did you guys see his most recent?
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
He is amazing.
I'm fighting for my life.
He's an innocent man trying to fight for his life.
Fuck you. I hate it.
No, I love R. Kelly.
He's like, I gotta see my kids. He's like $100,000 behind on child support.
He went to jail again.
Yes.
Did you see his nonstop?
He was in jail long enough to give us that golden interview, and then he went right back to jail.
I like how he was getting makeup applied and shit, and he kept fucking yelling. He couldn't stop.
And Gail is just like, Robert, Robert. She doesn't care. She was completely unbothered by all his antics. That made it that much because he's sweating and punching and people are grabbing him and she didn't even stand up.
I wish she called him R. She should have called him R.
Dude, that shit was trapped in a closet real life.
Yeah. It just needed the beat.